guys, welcome back to another video by R&DGarage. I want to give such a warm welcome to all our new subscribers. We've got like 110 of you guys in the past 28 days. And let me tell you, I'm not lying when I say my heart beats a little faster every time I get that email. You got a new subscriber. So thanks again for subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting on my videos. Today, we are back at work on Blueberry. So it turns out the radiator was wrong from Rock Auto. I thought maybe it was like an LS radiator that the previous kid had put on, but no, it was a GSR radiator that just didn't happen to fit. So we ordered a new one from Summit. It fits perfectly, the fans fit on it. So we're gonna go ahead and finish the job so I can continue to break her in. Let's do it. Okay, number one rule with new radiators, be super, super gentle because those fins, even if you look at them, they'll fold over. So again, be gentle. So, okay, you can see the fans are already on. This is because we wanted to make sure that it was a perfect fit this time. So I'm not going to take them off again, but if you watch my other video and just reverse the steps, you should be able to put the fans on with no problem whatsoever. Remember to fit the bottom piece in first on each one, and then there's 4 10mm bolts, and you're good to go. Let's get this sucker in already. Okay, so you guys notice I'm being extra gentle here, and I'm not touching the front of the radiator at all. So now we have to put on our isolators. And so with the little, it almost looks like a bowl on a plate. Makes sense to me. And so what I'm gonna do is put the plate side down right here. And then this one goes right here. Let's move on. Okay guys, so just before we started filming, I kind of test fit the radiator in there and it fits perfectly. However, my insulators fell off as soon as I lifted it up. So I think what I'm gonna do from now on, and what I think maybe is a good idea for you guys too, if they don't stay on the radiator itself, there's 2 deep pockets on either side where the radiator fits in and where the insulators go. And so plate side up, you can just pop both of them in, one on each side again, and then fit the radiator into them. So, okay, the easiest way to do this, I'm gonna have Dee help me again, just so, so the fins don't get damaged and all that. And I'm gonna go ahead and have him hold this hose back away, just so it doesn't rub against the radiator itself. And I'm gonna go ahead and test fit it. It's easiest to hold either on the side like this, or you can kind of hold it a little bit by the fan, but again, make sure your fingers don't go all the way through and touch the fins. Super important. Okay, Dee, let's do this. Okay. Again, being super careful. And you'll feel like a gentle squeeze once it's in. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and bolt her in. Okay guys, so you may have noticed in the last segment that my radiator was kind of leaning a little cockeyed towards the front of the car. I noticed this too, and I did a little bit of investigation, and apparently this side wasn't quite snug down in the insulator. So a helpful thing to do, make sure basically when they are in the insulator, on both sides, it looks like this, standing straight up. You can still lean a little bit, but you can tell it's snugged down deep in there. So you can either reach under the car and feel your way through it, or pull up on whatever side where it's not snugged in and get it in there. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, we are gonna do brackets now. So we're gonna do the 2 outside ones first, right here and here, and then I'm gonna go ahead with the middle one on the hose. And so you notice there's a notch right here, which fits perfectly into this hole. And then we're gonna go ahead and move up the radiator so that it's snugged in like this. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and fit this one in too, just to make it a little bit easier. Perfect. And I'm gonna just kind of snug these in, and you may have to move it a little bit to make the bolt fit. Not a big deal. Oops, it may fall out just like that, but we're gonna work with it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so right now it's just a little bit of finger tight. And I remember these bolts are just kind of crappy, so. That one went in great. Okay, this one is still a little bit sticky. Ah, there it goes. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this one as well. You'll notice there's another notch and another hole, so it's gonna fit in just like that, and then place in the bolt. And again, if it feels like the bolt isn't quite in, we're not quite matching up, don't try to force it because you will miss thread or strip the thread, and that's never good. Okay, so that is on. Let's go ahead and just snug these up just a little bit, like that. Beautiful. Just like that, she's in. Okay guys, well, the radiator is in and it's secure, but we still have to reconnect all these clips. And so I'm gonna deal with this one first. It just pops on like that, and it should be, there we go, a clicking sound. And then we're gonna go ahead and slip on the back of the bracket, or oops, the back of the clip to the bracket here. Just like that. So remember that there is also a connector right below this one that clamps on to the compressor. And also after you clamp them together, make sure that you put it on the bracket as well. Okay guys, a couple more connectors left, and they are right here. So the first thing with this one, we're gonna go ahead and connect. It's just like the one on the opposite side. And kind of got a weird angle here. And so it should, there you go, there's that nice click, and it'll fit on the bracket up here. Perfect, you guys hear that click too? Awesome. And then we have this, which we had already connected, but we're gonna go ahead and fit it on the bracket as well. And that actually fits sideways. And that is now on. Awesome guys, we got a couple hoses and we are done. Well, I said just a couple hoses left and then we're done. But we do actually need to reinstall our overflow bottle. So let's go ahead and do that. So you notice it has this little panel right here. That is gonna fit nicely into this bracket right here. So make sure it's completely vertical. There we go. And it'll be a nice satisfying thunk once it's in. And we're gonna go ahead and connect this hose right back on to the radiator here. Cool. Now we can move on to the hoses. You guys know what time it is. Time to compare new parts versus old parts. Okay, so we've got the lower hose here and we've got the upper hose here. So the upper hose, it looks very, very similar. Obviously these are a little bit worn, well, more than a little bit, but it looks a little different to me, but I know it's gonna fit. We already did like a test fit. And so this hose, this lower hose, actually looks a little bit longer, but there's no need to tweak it or trim. I think they went with a slightly shorter hose last time. At any rate, we're going with Gates Exact Fit hoses, and the lower one, the part number is 22703, and the upper hose is 22920. Okay, let's go ahead and toss these in. Okay guys, step number one when it comes to these hoses, do yourself a favor as well as a favor for the person who's gonna buy your car next and take off the labels, because if you don't, the heat from the motor is just gonna bake them on and it looks just like crap. So take it from me. If you're decking out your car and it looks awesome, just do yourself that little favor and yeah, make the rest of it look good too. Okay, so right now I'm holding the lower hose, and what you want to do first is if your brackets are looking or your clamps are looking kind of crappy, go ahead and change them out because you want a nice smooth fit on these, and we kind of go with stainless steel. They just kind of have a nice little sheen to them and they seem to hold up pretty well. When you put them on, tighten them up just a little bit so that they don't fly off the end of the hose, but also when you're positioning them, make sure they're in a spot where it's easy to reach once you're down in there. Not so, you know, they're off in the breeze somewhere where it's kind of simple to be able to screw it with your nut driver. Okay, so the top one here, this, I'm just gonna show you the first part right here, and then we'll film from below. So this is gonna go in like this. Maybe you'll take a little bit of finagling, but what I like to do is put it down all the way. So you're going past the motor, and then you can come down along here, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but literally the spot where the hose goes on is right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and clamp it on. And I just heard the other half fall off, but that's okay. That's a little easier to reach. So we're gonna get that on all the way. Perfect. And then move the clamp down and go ahead and tighten. And I'm gonna move it in a position where I can actually reach, just like this. There we go. Beautiful. And I'm just gonna squeeze it on just a little bit further. When you're working with new hoses, it takes a little bit more elbow grease than if you're putting on the old ones, just because they're a little bit tighter. So, but that's a good thing. Okay, so we got that on. I'm gonna go ahead, and remember we have the extra long length here because otherwise I can't reach. And let's see. There we go. So I'm just gonna tighten a little bit. Oops. Okay. Now I've almost snugged it on, but not completely, because you want a little bit of play so that you can make adjustments when you're putting on the lower end of the hose. And as well, you don't want to completely tighten it because you may get a kink in your hose, and nobody wants that, or torque it up or something. So, okay, the top end is kind of done for now. We're gonna go tackle the bottom half. Okay guys, before I jack the car up, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the upper hose just to kind of kill two birds with one stone here. So again, same story as the other hose. If your clamps are looking kind of bad, go ahead and swap them out. Again, we like to use stainless steel ones. They really last. And I like to put the side on the engine side first and then hook up to the side of the radiator. But if you have an option that works for you, I'm not going to tell you no. Okay, and again, it's getting kind of cramped in here now with the other hose on. So I'm going to go ahead and fit this side, and you may have to kind of push a little, but again, be careful with these connectors right here. You don't want to break them now that you're almost done. And so, yeah, and again, the hose is like super stiff. So it's something to watch out for. So it's not completely on that side, but just to make enough room, I'm gonna see if I can fit, there we go, fit it on this side too. And you know what, I'm actually gonna take that off, get it out of the way. There we go. Okay, so that's completely on the radiator side. Let's go ahead and push this on further, and you definitely have to shake it to get it on. And now it is on. Okay, now that the hose is on, we can go ahead and slide the clamp up. There we go. And put it exactly where it's easiest for you to use your nut driver. And go ahead and tighten. Okay, so that part is snug. We're gonna move over here, move this. I'm gonna loosen it just a little bit more so it'll fit a little bit easier over this side. There we go. And actually loosen it even more. Whew. It's about 75 today and I'm feeling it. Okay, there we go. So that's nice and loose. It fits perfect on this side. And so I'm going to hold it into place and go ahead and clamp it down. Beautiful. And I'm going to tighten this one down just a little bit more. And voila, we've got our upper hose connected. Let's go ahead, jack her up, and take care of the bottom half of the lower hose. Okay guys, last step to get this hose on, and then we're going to finally fill the tank with coolant. Sweet. Okay, so this one is a little bit of a bear, but you can see where it fits right here. So again, it may be a little awkward fitting it on, but since, oh wow, that actually went on really well. There we are. Okay, and so now we're gonna bring the clamp down, but I have to loosen it a bit to make it fit. So let's go ahead and do that while trying to keep my arm out. And so remember, it's always a little bit weird when you're working under the car because everything is like opposite, and that doesn't quite fit yet. So we're gonna go ahead and still loosen. There we go, perfect. And now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten. Oops. Without hitting myself in the head or getting dirt in my face. I should really be wearing my glasses right now. Okay. Nice and snug. Hoses are done. Okay, let's go ahead and fill up that tank. Okay guys, we're gonna start to fill the radiator with coolant. Now, I've got a bunch of cool little toys here to help me with that. And the first thing I'm gonna do is put this adapter through this little bracket of sorts. Go ahead and put this on the radiator itself and lock it into place, basically kind of a half turn to the right. Go ahead, insert your funnel, and start filling. We're gonna fill until the radiator is full, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, now that you know the steps to get the funnel into place, let's go ahead and fill it up with coolant. And be careful because they usually fill these bottles all the way up to the top. Toss. Perfect shot. Okay, I'm gonna pause a little bit here just to let you guys know if you see any leaks, be sure to wipe them away. Also make sure it's not a faulty radiator, that maybe it's not quite a good connection right there and that's what's making it leak. So just something to watch out for, and always have like a rag handy to wipe up spills. Now I'm gonna go ahead and kind of squeeze the hoses a little bit and make sure, kind of burp out some air, you know? Okay, I'm gonna fill a little bit more and then kind of move on. I'm not gonna show the whole process of filling this just because it's kind of boring. Well, maybe not boring, but I mean, it would take too long. So, okay, let's move on. Okay guys, so I kept filling up the radiator with coolant, squeezing the hoses along the way to kind of burp out the air. Once I was about halfway through, maybe with the coolant bottle, I went ahead, started up the Integra, let her run for quite some time until the fan kicks on. Also, turn on the heater all the way full blast, just to make sure the car heats up even more a little bit quickly. Okay, shut off the car, let everything cool off again. Repeat the process, fill up a little bit more coolant, and now it is up to the neck of the radiator. I have a new cap on order. This one still works, even though the label kind of looks crappy. But like I said, it's on order. We're gonna be replacing that, and we are good to go. I realized 3/4 through the video that we actually didn't put in the temperature gauge, or the temperature I'm sorry, the thermostat. So I guess you guys will be getting another Blueberry video, which I know some of you were like, woohoo, and some of you are like, what about the FJ? Don't worry, we are working on the FJ next, after Blueberry. Okay guys, but at any rate, thanks again for subscribing to R&DGarage. It's just been so wonderful seeing the sub list just kind of climb and climb and climb. Thank you again for liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. We'll be coming back very soon with more videos, a couple more vlogs. I have a performance driving class on Wednesday that I will definitely be filming for you guys. I am so super excited to get back on the Sonoma Raceway track in the Civic. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I will definitely, you'll be hearing from me very soon. Have a great week.